Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert back with the TED Show. I've been trying to get this young gentleman on my show for quite a while. He is amazing, a great friend, a big community leader, makes a big impact in the world, and I am honored to have him on the show. Mr. Vince Loran, what's up, brother?
Hey, first, I'm elated to be on this virtual platform with you. Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Thank you, Ted, for having me on.
I'm so excited. So we're going to talk a little bit while we share, right?
Yeah,
So we met through your beautiful wife, Anna. We work
amazing.
together just
Yeah.
for disclosure purposes. She works. I don't do the work. She does the work. Trust me. And she's amazing at what she does. So I have to give a shout out to Anna Chanis from the home team of Freedom Mortgage. We're both partners in that. She does all of the heavy lifting, and I get to do fun things like this with you.
Amen, brother. I'm so happy to be here. This is awesome and amazing. So
Well, I'm
thank you.
excited about this topic too. I want people to get to know you. I love inward transformation leads to outward action. That's awesome. And Ignite RPM, we'll talk about all that. But before we get started, people love to know origin story. They want to know a little bit about Vince. So give us a little background.
Sure. So I grew up in Bronx, New York, and Puerto Rico back in the 70s and 80s. Fun fact, I was born in Germany. And also, fun fact, back then I had more hair than John Travolta.
I should have done my research and found a picture of you with hair and
Yeah.
just plugged it up. I got to figure out how to do that more often.
Yeah. So that drove me into joining the military, and I joined the best Air Force of the world. Another fun fact, today is their 73rd, our 73rd birthday is when we
Nice.
separated from the Army Air Corps back in 1947. So kudos to the Air Force. Happy birthday, Airmen. My first half was spent doing working with my hands as an electrician. And the second part of my 21 career was working with my head and my heart as an equal opportunity superintendent. So that was a great culmination of my Air Force career. I, in '07, stayed in Virginia, navigated outside the military in Customs and Border Protection as a senior trainer, as a government contractor for 3 years. Got tired of rotating around the world in a suitcase, went ahead and found a choice job in USDA, Food and Nutrition Service, as a diversity program manager. So did that for 5 years. So in 2016, I felt like I had everything. I was a kid from the Bronx, New York, Puerto Rico, making six figures, had the cars, amazing, beautiful wife, see 3 young ladies grow to be great women, our daughters, and a grandbaby. But all that was going well, but I really felt a bigger and stronger connection to deal and work primarily with vulnerable populations. So I left the completely FNS or USDA and started a 5-year plan, which turned into a 7-year plan. And within all that, I've been doing some cohorts of fellowship programs of entrepreneurship. One specifically that resonates was Dog Tag Bakery in Georgetown. It made me appreciate the work they did for me, find out the person I am. So I took on coaching. I took on leadership coaching through Georgetown. I went through their program, got certified as executive leader.
I didn't know that.
Yes, great, phenomenal program from Georgetown. Moved here in 2017 to be out of the cold and closer to family. So Floridians, 3 years now and counting. So that's been that journey. But these last 4 years, since 2016, since I left the FNS, I started my own company, Ignite RPM, in 2019. And that really is representative to business leaders and managers to get unstuck, to really shift their mindset and create results. Also, I'm mentoring 2 great individuals in Dog Tag Bakery and the Camaraderie Foundation, great organization here in
I
Central.
love Camaraderie Foundation too. Yes, amazing.
Right. And I have 2 podcasts co-hosting, one with Enrique Gonzalez doing The Leadership Void,
He's
and
awesome.
one with Lori Huertas doing Bilingual Alphabet Series. And lastly, since my plan is to be a social worker ambassador, I have joined the ranks of Barry University, doing my graduate work in social work. Because as one of my heroes says, get into good trouble. So rest in peace, Congressman John Lewis. So here I am doing it all.
I love your story because, first of all, thank you for your service. I didn't know it was only 73 years, but that makes sense. I was like, God, why isn't it like 200 like the Marines? Okay, Ted, we didn't have airplanes then. So, hello, Friday. Thank you for your service. But I love the fact that you pivoted. You figured out how to pivot, because I think a lot of veterans have a difficult time when they get out trying to figure out how to become civilians and be in the civilian life and figure out where their path is, where their journey was. Was that difficult for you in the beginning, or did you already know this is where I need to be?
It's twofold. It was definitely stressful and definitely nerve wracking. I'll say there's three things you can do in that conundrum. You can pivot, you can putt, or you can pursue. Right. So I had to deal with all three, and it was hard at first, because our identity was worn on the uniform, and everybody respected that identity. Here we are, plain suited. Our identity was just our name, so we had to revalidate ourselves as a civilian in that sense, out of the military. But it took a little growing pains to get there. But pivot, putt, or pursue, and I did it, and here I am.
Pivot, putt, or pursue. I'm going to remember that. That's good. What was the coaching like? Because it's one thing to be coached, or I feel like there's a lot of people that want to read every coaching book, watch every coaching YouTube, and they're hoping to God that it comes through them through osmosis. And then they don't understand that there's action involved, which is sort of what we're talking about here, where the action comes in after you've done your inward transformation. But why be a coach?
Wow, that's a great question. And I will say to folks that, what? We all learn in a row, but we grow in a circle. And I say that because we academically can learn a lot of different aspects, have degrees, but we really grow in a circle. And what that means, we have to interact. Life is about interaction. And when coaching comes into this play is in this growth phase of being in a circle, because we don't realize how much it impacts us emotionally, physically, and mentally. So that's a component that we have to really come back, be present, and understand, have that, growth through gratitude grounding, all that great stuff. But it was a phenomenal program to go through those stages and learn different tools so I can be grounded and be present to help my clients, but more for not just for them, but for myself, self-satisfaction and gratitude.
Was it nerve-wracking, the first client you took on? I would imagine, like, when I coach people now, I don't have a certificate. I just give advice, so I like to use the word coach. But you're a real coach. When you coach someone, though, I mean, that they're basically saying, "All right, Vince, my life's in your hands. I need help. I need to change my life or adjust or do something." Was it difficult that first time putting everything that you learned into play?
Yes, because I can say I'm a master of not how to do things well, right? I added that to my list. Damn, that didn't go so well. But that was an opportunity to learn how to grow from it. But folks out there want to galvanize the teams, but I really found the core of that, working with teams, is really optimizing your own stuck points and first acknowledging your own emotions, your fears, and what threatens you. So that's really the optimal portion. And one quote I love to share with my clients and those surrounding me: and one does not drown by falling in the river. One drowns by being submersed in it. So if you're submersed in wherever you are in your life, professional, personal, that's going to keep you stuck. So we get to the point that we're going to help you pivot and get out of that. So
I think people get caught up in, we've talked about this on the show before, the imposter syndrome. You're going about your business, you do the wonderful things, you get the coaching certificate, you go through the program, and then you're like, who's going to buy me? When are they going to find out? I have no idea what I'm doing. And this stops a lot of people from following their passion. That's why I think inward transformation leads to outward action is so powerful, because you've got it there, and then you have to figure out how to go, okay, I've got all the tools. Take that first step. People don't expect perfection out the gate.
No, they don't. And one thing about navigating the sea of life is, we heard these great quotes like, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. Or you heard, leading a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? But if you think about all that, is how do you make them thirsty? How do you make that horse thirsty? How do you make that person wanting to fish thirsty which is really understanding, consuming what's inside of them, because they already, guys, to your point, Ted, they have all the tools they need.
Right.
So how do you make yourself thirsty and vulnerable, right? That's the main thing right there. It starts from self.
Yes, I agree. I think the vulnerability I want to talk a little bit about, because I feel like vulnerability is a key step somewhere in the process toward that transformation. If you cannot figure out where your vulnerabilities are and be able to live in them and embrace them, then it's very hard to move forward, because you're always carrying the things that you haven't let out or you haven't dealt with. So talk a little bit about vulnerability. I mean, a strong, cool dude from the Air Force. What was that like, learning how to be vulnerable?
It took a while. It took a while, a lot of slaps and bruises to understand that vulnerability is also tied into courage, and
Yes.
understanding that that's a huge step to take. Because I'll add, courage doesn't mean you don't get afraid. Courage means that you don't let fear stop you. And that's vulnerability as well. You have to be vulnerable, let go of your ego, and understand, hey, open the armor, because folks probably feel the same or dealt with the same that you are dealing with. So you have to have that courage and vulnerability. And it took a while to where I'm at today.
People respond to it, don't you think? People will say to me all the time, God, I can't believe you shared that live. Well, I mean, what am I going to do? There's no better way for me to be able to let people know that they're not alone than to share the things that I struggle with or have gone through, or the obstacles and the triumphs. I mean, people like to see that it took you a while to get there. When they look at shows like this or they listen to your podcast, they probably think, God, he's got it all together. And guys, I've said it a million times, I'll say it again, we don't have it all together.
No, as I said, I'm the master of doing it wrong, the focus also is replacing, why is this happening to me, with, what is this trying to teach me? That shifts everything there. Victim and victor type of mentality is important.
So if I begin to deal with those things, I begin to look at inwardly and transform, work on myself, work on my vulnerabilities, my authenticity, whatever it is that you need to work on. How does that really lead to outward action? What happens in that transformational part that actually leads to some action?
Well, first of all, you already are said to yourself, I'm worth it and I'm worthy. And you're giving yourself the tools you need to be better and enhance your own energy and your own light. Because light that's emitted gets radiated to millions and thousands of others, even if it affects one person. So I think just understanding that you're not being having the imposter syndrome, you are really helping yourself transform, which is going to create actions for yourself, but results for others as well. Because it's about unity here and togetherness. It's
I think
involved.
I agree. I think the actions impact. I love what you said. It could impact one person, or you feel like it does, but then that person becomes impacted as well, and then they impact other people. And so it's definitely a ripple effect. When you allow that transformation to lead to the action, you're really making a big impact on the world. So people who are out there going, well, what I feel and what I have to say or what my talents aren't worthy, that's really the first step. You've got to acknowledge that you have worthiness, and that you are worth your message, and what you're feeling is probably something someone else in the world needs to hear. So what do you want to do with social work? I have to ask you, because that is such, to me, an honorable profession, a very difficult profession, but yet it's undervalued, underappreciated, but makes such a giant impact on our world. What is it that you want to do with that?
Well, as I'm starting social work, graduate studies in my work, I tell you what, I still really don't know which way do I want to go. Is it macro at the policy level, in legislation? Is it the meso at the community, or is it at the micro at the individual level, or is it all three? So I'm still torn, not understanding at this day today. Ask me in 2 years, because by then I'll probably have a better opportunity when I go through my internships, my field placements. But my heart right now is drawn towards middle high school students and also veterans. That's why I feel right now is a pull. but in 2 years I might have a different pulse. So I can't really articulate that. I want to help everybody, but I definitely can't. And I know I can't, but I want to build a team so we can go out there and be the best that we can to whomever we're serving of that's vulnerable out there.
Such a great point. You can't, something that I think a lot of people get caught up on. You can't help everyone.
Mm.
And so if you take that on, I feel like those are the people that really struggle to get anything done because they are focused on this giant, I've got to help all of these people. And maybe that could be the ripple effect, but don't let that be the thing that stops you. Well, if your idea is not perfect and only helps one person, it still helps a person. So just start there. I think people get so caught up. Well, I've got this idea, but I'm not going to implement it. I'm not going to take the leap until it's 100% perfect. And all the people I want to impact are going to be impacted. And I say to them, I think you might agree, look, just go with your truth and work through it. People will be impacted as you go through.
Yeah. But
tell me about veterans. I'm such a big proponent of anything that can help veterans out, and I know you are too. So tell me about what you're involved with there, and give civilians, give people who want to help an idea of the best way for us to get involved.
Reach out, number one, to myself or different. There's definitely organizations. Think as a veteran leaving the military. We hear about these resources, but sometimes we really don't know which one is the one that are good and versus the bad ones. So reach out to someone, ask that question. Vince Loran, you can reach me anytime you want. Camaraderie Foundation. Luckily, I had another veteran that turned me on to that great organization is the reason I became involved with them. FAVOB and so many Wounded Warrior Project, Mission Continues. There's definitely a plethora of resources out there. Again, just reach out, ask. All you can do is ask. Like I say to folks, just be yourself, but only better. And being only better means you have to reach out at times because it takes a community to build who you are as a person sometimes.
That's correct. And like you said, I love the part you talked about earlier where the uniform was your identity, that established within the military who you were, or at least what you represented in that uniform. And when our military family gets out, a lot of times they don't have that. So they obviously don't have that same support system or structure. So please reach out, get involved. I have so many people after these shows that tell me, I'd love to help, but I don't know anybody in the military and I don't know what to do. Okay, well, start with Vince. Start with somebody. Reach out and get in touch with him because I think it's so important that we embrace our military, especially with all the sacrifices that you guys make. All right, I asked this question a lot. I haven't asked it in a while. When I say the word hero, what comes to mind? Who comes to mind for you?
I guess it's threefold. I'll start with the nation person who changed the world first for me, and seeing him do so much was Congressman who passed, John Lewis. You get into good trouble. I think the boy from Troy, as Dr. King called him, you did so much in his years for the world, right, to unite us. When I come to a level of who's impacting community and myself, I go to my amazing wife. Came from Panama. Here she is, adopted and the culture here, but made it her own and is helping so many individuals of Spanish-speaking descent, but also helping the family grow too as a unit. And the person individually that's my hero is myself. I always have to be compassionate to myself and thank God that where I'm at, who I've been with, and everything I've been given, with all my bumps and my bruises I have. So those are the three heroes that I'll say in that scenario.
I love it. I think the self one is just so important. People do forget that part. And if you aren't self-care, aren't self-appreciative, aren't grateful, it's very hard to do the positive things in the world that you want to if you're coming from a half-empty soul and spirit. It's very difficult. So I love that answer. All right. So how can people reach you? How can they reach out to Vince? How can they get involved? How can they learn more about your podcast and Ignite RPM?
Well, I live in Central Florida. If you pay for me to go somewhere, I'll fly away. So, so I will not limit myself to Central Florida or United States. I'll say that right off the bat. You can definitely reach me at vince@igniterpm.com, or you can reach me at vinceloran@gmail.com. So definitely two ways to reach me there. I have a Facebook page. I have definitely Vince Loran or Ignite RPM, and I'm on LinkedIn, Vince Loran. So any of those platforms right now, I'm growing my platform of social media, but right now those are the ways to reach me. Telephonically, I definitely can be reached too as well if whoever wants to reach me there. I have a Virginia number, 703-217-2195. So, and I'll say to folks, always be kind to others, but never forget, be compassionate to yourself.
Love it. You're a joy, man. I have to say, the first time I met you, I thought this is one of the most calming. You have a very calming presence and spirit, and I think I would imagine that's why people immediately flock to you, because they're looking for that kind of calm. So kudos to you for being such a great leader and community advocate, and for all that you do for our world. Vince Loran, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you, everyone. Happy birthday, Airman.
That's right. Happy birthday. Y'all have a great weekend. We love you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.